My name's Melody Tretosa, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. I've been a Wellesley resident for 20 years. I am a personal trainer. I have my own business in downtown Wellesley called The Next Level. I'm a co-owner along with Trudy Riley, and I've been doing that for about 15 years.
My name is Fran Hogan, and I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I've been living in Wellesley for 18 years or so. I currently raise my 16-year-old twins and try to stay involved in the community through philanthropic ways. I belong to something called the National Charity League, which is a mother-daughter organization for girls 7th grade through 12th grade. That keeps us pretty busy. I work with the Wellesley Village Church, where I've been a member for 15 years in various capacities, and at Newton-Wellesley Hospital.
Last year, actually a year ago in September, I felt something on my left breast, and I wasn't sure what it was. There was some pain related to it, and I decided to go see the doctor. I wasn't too anxious at the time because I had had a mammogram 4 months prior to that, and everything was normal, so I was thinking maybe it was, a cyst or something, but other than what it was, which was breast cancer. I went to see the doctor. She felt it as well. She made an appointment for me to go to the breast clinic at Newton-Wellesley Hospital, where I had a mammogram, and it was normal. But when they did the ultrasound, they found a lump, very tiny lump, but they found something which they looked suspicious. And shortly after that, about 2 days after, they biopsied, and 24 hours later, I was told that it was breast cancer.
I was diagnosed with intraductal carcinoma in my right breast 10 years ago. And it was a memorable year because it was September 11, 2001. So I was diagnosed my birthday weekend in March of that year. Happy birthday. So in March I was diagnosed, and in April I had my first lumpectomy, which is outpatient surgery, and then I began chemo treatments in June. I went June through September for chemo, and then when I was finished in September 10th, the day before September 11th, I had some re-excision surgery, which is where you go in through the existing scar to get some more tissue. And when I was recovered from that, 3 weeks later, I went through 33 treatments of radiation, finishing up in December, so inside of a year I was done. And then I had 5 years of tamoxifen after that.
The most important thing, I think, for at least for me while I was going through the treatment, was I wanted to feel normal, because there was something about being a patient which I wasn't used to being. I mean, my background's in nursing, so I was a nurse for years. I was a social worker, so I was always on the other end of the caretaking, and I think that it was difficult for me to be the patient. So it was important for me to feel normal and to continue my normal regime, like my exercising and eating well and trying to get back to work. I think all of those things helped me get through it.
My father had esophageal cancer, but all the women relatives didn't have any ovarian or breast or uterine or any kind of cancer like that, so it took me completely and utterly by surprise. We were in sort of shutdown mode for the first couple weeks, trying to process the information, we being my husband and myself. And then, because I had 5-year-old twins, I didn't have too much time to sit around feeling sorry for myself, and on we went. So my children were small enough that it was easy to contain the information and manage it. They didn't seem any worse for the wear, they're kids. Although, it's never been a secret, when they were old enough to understand, I explained it to them. And my daughter in particular has written a couple papers on it. I know she's interested in it, and probably will affect the way she manages her own life.
Because of my experience at the Vernon Cancer Center and how grateful I was to them to be able to help me, that I really felt it was a personal choice for me to help them and try to help raise some money for the Vernon Cancer Center.
Even though I didn't use the Vernon Cancer Center because my cancer was 10 years ago and it hadn't been built yet, I have spoken to people who've used the center and know that it's terrific. It's local, it's your familiar hospital, it's your community hospital. I think the vibe is great and there are a lot of wonderful people doing wonderful things there.
I'm Joan Archer, president of the Charitable Foundation at Newton-Wellesley Hospital, and I'm very pleased to be here at the second annual Hope Walks at the hospital, which we are holding. We're making this an annual event so that we can raise funds for the Vernon Cancer Center for our support services. These services are so important for patients and families undergoing treatment, and yet many of the support services are not fully reimbursed by insurance or not reimbursed at all. So we want to raise a fund to make sure that patients can avail themselves of these services regardless of the ability to pay. And these services include things like nutritional support, genetic counseling, social worker services, and our PACT program, which stands for Parenting at a Challenging Time. The startling statistic that 25 to 30% of adults diagnosed with cancer have a child under the age of 18. So we want to provide the psychological support for parents so that they can better know how to handle their parenting issues while they're undergoing treatment. And so this is a wonderful program. These funds will go to support the patient navigator, so that once a patient is diagnosed with cancer, he or she can meet with this oncology nurse and help understand the journey he or she will be on in seeking treatment. And this nurse navigator, the patient navigator, will help coordinate appointments and guide the patient through the whole treatment cycle. So these are extremely important services, and we're doing all we can to ensure that they will be there for patients in need.
It's a very upbeat thing. I did it last year, which was the first year, and it's terrific because it's community, it's easy, it's 3.5 miles, it's families, strollers, dogs, bright colors, happy, happy, happy. And next year, the National Charity League, which I mentioned earlier, we have maybe 10 or 15 philanthropies that we work directly with, and we just approved Newton-Wellesley Hospital as one of our philanthropies to work with. So the Hope Walks event is a perfect activity for our girls to participate in, and we have 123 girls as members right now. So next year we can have a big team.
I decided to put together a team of my clients, mostly my clients, to raise money for the Vernon Cancer Center. So that's how I got involved. And I put together a team called Bodies by Melody, and we came up with about 30 walkers. Most of them were my clients, some of them were my clients' friends as well. And we raised over $7,000 for the hospital. And we came in second in terms of, among the 70 teams, we were the second highest fundraising team. And it was a very satisfying experience for me because I felt like I was able to give something back to the Vernon Cancer Center.
Second prize team, Bodies by Melody, $6,741. Whoa, come on down.
The way I raised the money was individual sponsorships by my clients, but there's Lux Spa and Nails, which is a place and a business that just opened up about a year ago in downtown Wellesley, and I know the owner, and I spoke to him about my walk, and he decided to sponsor me by by dedicating one day, which was the Sunday before the walk was on the 25th, and the 18th of September, every manicure and pedicure that went through the door, we would get 100% of the proceeds for our team. So he presented me with a check for $1,200, which was very, very generous. And he is definitely wants to be involved again next year when we do it. And his point was that he wanted to be, he feels that the community has supported him and he wanted to support the community. Well, Newton-Wellesley Hospital, the Vernon Cancer Center, is actually a lifesaver for me because it gave me an option living out in the suburbs, a place to go where I knew I was going to be taken care of, and that it had the top technology, and for me it allowed me to work. Because my treatment was 6 weeks, it was a lumpectomy, and then a month later it was 6 weeks of radiation for every day. So for a working person, that's heavy in terms of logistically getting back and forth to work. So Newton-Wellesley Hospital provided me the opportunity to continue to work, and they treated me incredibly. It was just an amazing experience. The staff is wonderful, the integrative programs they have there, the social workers and nutritionists, the Reiki specialist, acupuncture, everything they provide, a very holistic approach to cancer, was pretty impressive. And I felt and still feel very blessed that they're so close to they're in my backyard.
I've always felt like a fortunate person, a lucky person, and I feel even luckier now. Not only because I survived, but because I had a wonderful, loving family supporting me the whole time. I have great medical care here in the Boston area, and I saw a lot of people who seemed to be struggling, who were either alone, who were not English speaking, who had transportation difficulties, financial difficulties, none of which I had. So I feel really fortunate. I feel grateful every day. I don't know that my outlook's really changed a lot. I'm a pretty positive person, which I think helped me.
Once you get a diagnosis of cancer, I think you have to be, you sit back a little bit and think about your life and think about what's important. I've always thought that, family's important, friends. I mean, my kids are fantastic. My fiance, John Hagan, is incredible. He was very, very supportive during the time. All my friends, all my clients, everybody just pulled it together. So, I think that I've always believed that surround yourself with good people, with friends and family, and that's what's going to get you through a crisis. And certainly for me, it did. That I feel really blessed that I've surrounded myself with wonderful people in my life. One of the biggest advices that I would give women is don't second guess yourself. If you feel there's something going on, don't downplay it and check it out, because I would not have checked it out if I really didn't know my body as well as I do, because 4 months prior to me discovering this, I had a normal mammogram. So my advice to the women is to really be tuned into their body, and if they think there's anything going on, then check it out.
If you're fearful or you need to get early detection is absolutely everything. And there isn't a woman out there who shouldn't get a mammogram when they're told, who should follow up, who should do all the things that the medical advice tells you to do, because if you detect it early, then you'll be okay. And I believe in a cure. I think we'll see a cure in our lifetime for sure. Everybody has a mom. So breast cancer receives a lot of attention and a lot of research dollars, and it's going to happen. It's going to be successful.